All right, some highlights from the chat room today. QCOR, I really wasn't even watching this. I saw it gapping up on news of a buyout. I keep thinking it was around 90 bucks, but I have to double check that. But anyway, and it can generally be a pretty whippy trader, so I was just leaving it alone and doing other things. But then when I saw it coming down, you see this green line down here? This is a big deal in our chat room, all right? This is a 5-minute candle, 60 period moving average. And there's nothing magical about it. Well, let me get that. Let me use an arrow here. So you can see right there, it says the 60 period exponential moving average is that green, and another green one is the 24 period moving average. And all that means is those equate to 15-minute candles, the 8 and the 20. Okay, so the 60 period moving average on 5s, and I've made videos about this before, is the same as the 20 period moving average. Roughly the same area, almost the same exact price. They're calculated based on time frames, so there might be a few pennies difference. But having said that, what it does is it keeps you from having to switch time frames. So if you're looking at a 5-minute chart and you see this coming down to this green line, you know that's where the 20 period moving average is on 15-minute candles. Okay, so this is an area where I look for a bounce. So this is when I put everybody on notice in the chat room and said, hey, let's watch QCOR. And you can see it started to bounce there. I actually used 2-minute candles. These are 5s, but I used 2-minute candles for my call, which made the long 75.94 and the stop 45 cents below. And that was the low of the day. There's about 3-4 minutes left in the session. And from 75.94, this has gone to 80.87 so far. So almost $5 in our favor on 45 cents risk. And even the 45-cent risk is a little bit deceiving, because you can see using 2-minute candles, there's the trigger. We were never underwater. This thing just took off, and then switching back to 5s, you can see we're getting a strong close as well. Some other stuff. Oh, I gotta give hats off to one of our moderators. We call him Big Al. Super fast on the news, and in pre-market he posted news on ISR. Now, if you watch any of my videos, you know this one's been on my watch list just about every day. And when he posted the news, I said, hey, how old is that? And he said about 2 minutes. And I was able to grab it at 298. And I almost never trade pre-market, but I said, hey, guys, I'm taking some here, 298. And my last sell was still in pre-market at 340. So, I mean, I started my day great thanks to Big Al. That was just a great alert. I love the news. I'm surprised it didn't do better after the market opened, but I haven't owned it since the market opened. I did make one call in it here at 320 something, and it went to 330 something for some people for a scalp. But anyway, I wanted to give hats off to Big Al. That was a great call. Some other stuff, I put out ideas on RYL using 15-minute candles. Let me zoom in a little bit here. I put out an idea of a potential short on RYL, which would have been right there, and the stop would have been right there. And so that, it wasn't a huge profit, but it worked. Okay, I talked about the home builders as a potential short this morning. ADT late in the day. This is a very simple setup. This purple line here is the 200 period moving average, and these are 15-minute candles. And one of my scanners that I run throughout the day through Trade Ideas just looks for stuff hitting what we call the 15-200, 15-minute candles, 200 period moving average. And ADT showed up on that. And if you look, it had not broken a previous 15-minute candles high all day, but then put in kind of this doji candle here. And I said, hey, this could be a potential long over 30.80. Now, you look at it and say, well, big deal. It went to 31.09. Still money in your pocket if you're a day trader. It didn't exactly tear it up, and it wasn't a beautiful gainer, but it just goes to show having some of these ideas in your repertoire can still pay you. A couple misses were ALTR. I pointed this out to the chat room when it was hitting the 200 day. Okay, now these are daily candles, but at the same time, and that was right down here, at the same time the SPY was hitting 184, which we said is an area where the market could bounce. Okay, so that was a perfect setup. To take ALTR like on a 5-minute long basis when the SPY was at a place where it should have bounced, and that literally was right down in here. I'm showing it to you because it just proves the method, even though I didn't get it. And the same thing happened with RH. RH was getting what we call shape change down into the 200 day. See the purple line right there? right when the SPY was hitting support. That was another great bounce. Bounced over $1 from where I pointed it out, hitting the 200-day. Again, I didn't give a trigger and stop on that one, and I didn't make a penny from it myself. But those are, markets closed. Those are great setups when they coincide with a potential bounce in the SPY. So I'm just pointing those out to show you some of the different kinds of setups we look for in the chat room. And you know what? I'm going to leave it at that. It was a real nice day, all things considered. Glance at the SPY real quick now that the market's closed. You know what? Ended up closing back down close to the lows. I still now, if you've watched my videos lately, I'm definitely leaning short on an intraday basis. Having said that, 2 days down, 2 big days down into support, I'm actually going to be watching some stocks. Tonight's watch list will have probably several potential bounce plays. I don't want to call them bounce plays. I want to call them potential bounce plays because I don't know if I'll trade them that way. It depends on what they do on an intraday basis. Here's a smaller version of the daily SPY, and this one has the 50-day on it. The bigger one doesn't. So I just want to show you there's another reason. You've got support, from a couple weeks ago. Used to be resistance right back here. Well, you can see the line on the bigger chart, and it's sitting at the 50-day. Okay, so now I'm leaning towards some bounce plays tomorrow. Having said that, depending on what the SPY does, we'll certainly be in the back of our mind thinking intraday short setups if the SPY doesn't rally like I think it might tomorrow. All right, I'm going to quit babbling, and we'll talk to you tomorrow night.